Hello, I'm Jason, and today I'm going to show you how to be able to adapt pretty much any factory roof antenna to a car that it didn't belong on. So, in order to do that, you're going to need to most likely change the end on the antenna wiring. So, what I'm doing today is I have a G35 antenna that I really like. I like the style and everything. And I'm going to put it on my Nissan. It was actually already on the Nissan, but it was having trouble with radio reception. So I've dug down into it, and I found out that my factory wiring wasn't making good contact or continuity from the antenna on the roof to the radio. So I'm having to replace all that wiring there. But the other problem I was having was it wasn't making a good connection. So I had this factory end here. This is kind of what it came with. And there's no, actually, it's this side. No, it's that side. This is the front. And it had like a little round deal here for the ground. And then this was kind of in the middle of it. But it had this really weird connection. And I found this FM signal booster here that had a connection that was kind of similar. It'll focus. And I modified it to where I could jam it in there, but it just really wasn't making good contact. And I didn't like that. And I really wanted a more universal end like this one on it. So, you can go about this a couple different ways. I got just a little extension cable and I removed the end from it. You can buy just this. I found that out after the fact. But the way this is installed is the center pin here is for the positive on the antenna wire, and then this is actually for the ground because it's a shielded cable. So this is the cable it came off of, and they have an antenna wire that's a solid core, and you have to strip the insulation back off the end. And then they have the wire here that wraps around the outside of here that shields it from interference from other signals. So our factory wiring, it had a better looking braid than this one had, but it also had wire and this little tin stuff here, just the same. And then instead of a solid core, it was a braided core. There's also a couple of pieces here that you'll need to add. This had a little sleeve to kind of cover everything, and this is like a stopper that rams in behind it to shove these wires up against the inside of this guy, and then it's cramped on the end. Now I've seen ones that screw together here. That's probably a little easier if you don't have a crimper. But basically, this is going to slide over the end, and then we're going to solder the tip to this wire here, and then that's going to make contact there, and then we'll ram the plug in the back, and then that'll make contact with the ground, and it should have a universal end on it when we're done. Now, one thing to note is any short antenna like this is going to be what they call a fractal antenna, and basically fractal antennas are a nice compact way to make a AM/FM antenna, but they need a FM signal booster because they don't have as good of a signal as your regular mast antenna. But that's where that guy comes in. Now I'm not going to be able to use this one because it's got the wrong end on it, so I'll have to get just a universal FM signal booster that has a female end like this on the other side. And just a quick note on that. Your FM signal boosters, whatever they are going to have a wire like this on it, and you're going to attach this to your accessory power. So you'll have to find accessory power. So the power wire that powers up the radio when you turn the key on, actually it'll hit accessory and then on. You want the accessory power. So not 12 volt constant, not 12 volt switch, but the accessory power. That's what you want this one to be attached to, because that's going to power up the little booster. And this does make a difference. It cleans up the signal. It will work without it, but it's not a very good signal. So I'd highly recommend a booster. The factory units use that as well. So we're going to solder this right quick, and I'll show you how it turned out. One quick thing to notate, I just tried to solder it and then press this plug in, but the insulation and stuff wanted to just kind of ball up in front of it. So you should slide the backstop here up into place, or at least pretty close to into place, before you slide this cover over. That way, when you crimp it, you'll make sure you're making good continuity with your ground. And the other thing to note is the diameter of the insulation here was a little bigger than my factory one. So I took 2 pieces of heat shrink and I beefed it up to where it's all about the same. So you may have to do that as well. So here it slid together, and I'm ready to solder. That tip end. I don't know, I keep talking about solder. I'm using the 6040 solder. I'm using some acid flux there to make sure it takes, and I got me a Weller soldering iron. So here we have the finished product. The tip end is soldered, although it's hard to get it focused on that. It is soldered up, and we re-crimped it. We used this crimper here to crimp the end. It puts a little hex on it. It's like the 25 setting. Also got those on Amazon. That's a good handy tool for any kind of wiring. If you had that kind that screwed down, you probably wouldn't need to do that. And now all we got to do is slide that last little sleeve up. Let's see if I can do that. Well, I'm gonna have to put the camera down again. But there you have it. It's totally finished. Universal end on there. I can plug that into any antenna wire. That's what the bad boy looks like. I really like this because it kind of follows the lines of the car. If you look at the profile there versus the profile of the roof. And she just fits down right there. It's a really good tight fit, but you kind of get the idea. Well, hope that helps you. I couldn't find this information online about how to adapt a factory antenna to a non-factory application. But this is what I found to work, and it should work great now. Bye for now.